Hello, humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. Let's talk about Arcade 1-Up, the product you can't like. Oh, man, let me tell you something, guys. It's a very interesting story here with Arcade 1-Up and the reappearance of one John D. Now, whatever you want to say about John D., I do have to say that the community was a lot more interesting. There was a lot more content when he was around, that's for sure, right? Sometimes we don't know what we have, right? These controversial figures in business that out here in social media, they're great for entertainment, and, we like to criticize the wrong things that they do, but sometimes you go too far and then they go away, and then you have no entertainment left. That's why everybody misses Tommy Tallarico. Right? Trust me, haters miss him even more. Yes, we do. Anyway, guys, let's talk about John D here and his possible return to the scene in the arcade. Now, these are just a hypothesis, guys. But if we just what I think that could happen, or I wish that would happen, right? It's just figments of my imagination for your entertainment, but they could be plausible, right? Just because they might be improbable, there's still a small probability that could happen. Now, let me ask you, if you were fired unceremoniously like John D was and let go after all the contributions he made to that company, because whatever you want to say about the man, the reason they got the IPs that they got is because of him, right? The other guy they put in there, he's not going to fill their shoes. I mean, he's not going to fill his shoes at all. He doesn't have the experience. He's just not that guy, right? And whatever you want to say about John D, he brought the licenses, right? He brought the goods with him. Now that he was let go, I mean, what would you do, right, if you were in that kind of business? Wouldn't you come back with a competitor or something like that? Because if I'm a competitor of Arcade 1-Up, or somebody that's looking to get into this business, I would like to bring somebody like that along and pick his brain and see what that company did well and what they didn't. Because Arcade 1-Up was successful, right? At one point making these arcade cabinets. And that's why they keep on making the Pac-Mans and all this stuff, because they found the sweet spot there. And that actually built their company and, enabled them to make all these other acquisitions as far as licenses, right? And John Dean recently made a post about licenses. You can go on his Twitter and watch, and pretty much address the responsibilities of whoever's going to keep that license and what to do in order to be a good steward of the license or what have you. I'm paraphrasing here because it really doesn't matter what he said to my point. My point is that he could go somewhere else and exploit all the weaknesses of Arcade 1-Up, and there are weaknesses in their game. I mean, you can see it in the communication, you can see it in the PR. I've seen I've seen YouTube videos. What can we do as the public in order for them to make the cabinets that we want? Guys, if you haven't been around the channel, if you're new, let me burst your bubble here right now. Companies don't care about you, okay? They don't care about you. They care about how you spend your money. It's very different, right? And they're in the business of making money. They're in the business of making a product as cheaply as possible that you're willing to buy for as much money as possible. That's it. That's it. It doesn't go beyond that. If you happen to have a good time with a product, great. That means they're going to sell more. But that's the main goal right there. There is no other. They're not looking for your well-being. They're not looking into how you feel about retro and nostalgia and all that crap. They don't care. They absolutely don't care. It's not their business to care. It's their business to make money. Now, with that said, there are things that they haven't done in order to make money. John D knows this. And basically what you're seeing at Arcade 1-Up is the typical scene that you see in any company, right? So I'm going to put it in terms that you can relate. Have you ever been in a company where everything's great atmosphere? You get to come a little late into the office. You get to leave a little bit early. You have great friendships with the staff there. You shit around the water cooler, everything's cool, right? It's not a high pressure environment. And all of a sudden they get bought up, or there's new management, and all those things are gone and right quick. And they're gone because they're not about making money. And this is what you see at Arcade Went Up. The bean counters, as we say, the accountants took over and looked at every single feature of this company and said, this is not making money, this is not making money, as compared to our Pac-Man license, for example. Well, there are many things that Arcade Went Up didn't do to make money. And I can just give you one, right? Licensing of products. Arcade Went Up has turned into a hobby for many people. Look how many add-ons, upgrades, how many people work on their cabinets, make it passion projects for them. You have a whole community of people modding their arcades, in which Arcade Went Up makes $0. Right? So what if instead of fighting with Glenn, for example, you make him a licensee? Now you can promote his products, you can put the sticker on there, Arcade Went Up compatible, you run it through the tests, and you make money off of that. You start making money off the people that make upgraded marquees. What that enables you to do, right, is you can get a product that landed cost maybe costs you $80 to $125 from China, hitting the port of Los Angeles, and you're able to sell that for $399.99. Right? And you make up the rest of the money in all these upgrades that you're licensing out. Quality products, they're going to fit great. You want to change the screen? Amazing. Here's our official licensee for screen upgrades. You want to upgrade X, Y, or Z, the CPU, whatever it is, you license it out. Because there's a whole ton of people spending a whole lot of money upgrading these things, and Arcade Went Up makes $0. You have, by their own account, dead IPs, right? They have licenses there that are just sitting around that they paid for. They have them, and they're not using them. And you have not a flourishing, more like a dying online community. What could you do? Well, let me ask you, how much money would you be willing to pay a month, right, to play these games on your cabinets? Whatever compatible cabinets there are. I mean, you pay Electronic Arts, for example, $5 a month for playing their old games. What that could do, if you have a revenue stream from subscriptions from all the cabinets you've sold, it would give you enough money to create infrastructure to have proper online play. And all those subscriptions, they're just rolling over every month. Right? Those are a few things that you could do. But if John D goes to a competitor, they have to come out strong off the gate with a brand new cabinet. Right? And the one that I see that could really put a hurting, there might be others, but this is the one that I came up with, guys. I mean, if you have others, you can leave them in the comments. But if John D was able to get Donkey Kong, oh my Lord, that would be a game changer, right? That would make that company the equivalent, or Arcade Went Up when they put out Pac-Man, and that, and the rest of the Atari series, right? That would be opening the door to an awesome future, right? Because now, by default, Arcade Went Up would have to step up their game, because now there's another player on the scene with strong IPs. And, just because somebody has a license doesn't mean it's an exclusive license, right? Two different companies can make the same game, right? Have the same branding. I'll give you an example. Star Wars, right? Star Wars is made by EA, and other companies make Star Wars games. They have the label Star Wars, right? But it's licensed out to different companies for them to make their own game. You can do the same thing with arcades, right? I haven't read the licenses. I don't know if they're exclusive or not, but they're not all exclusive, because these companies want to keep selling and reselling to many people. But if you did that, You know, he could come back with a vengeance and get revenge on the people that just kicked him right in the ass, right? And just dismissed them unceremoniously. At least that's what I would do anyway, if it was that public. Anyway, guys, those are just my thoughts of what could happen, you know, something that you could do. But who knows? Who knows? But if John D is on the scene again, it means that probably he's planning something new and he's going to be getting a brand new position. You know, if I was one of Arcade One-Up's competitors, I would pay just a consulting fee just to listen to what the guy has to say. You know, it makes no sense not to bring him on board if you want to go into that space. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Make sure, if you haven't done so, subscribe to the channel and hit that like button for me. I will catch you on the next one. I have to go into this office and write reports all day and talk to no one. Take care.